Hi everyone and welcome back. This is my second video on the AWS track, and as we decided that we are going to talk about AWS quiz for cloud practitioner exam. So here we are, let's get started. So in AWS there are like 200 plus services, and cloud practitioner talks about getting familiar with all those services which are divided in different categories. If we talk about any cloud vendors, then cloud vendor provider services which are divided into software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, or function as a service, or backend as a service. All these categories are there, and here I'm not teaching about AWS services, what AWS is and all. AWS is a cloud vendor and providing us all these services, so we can either use the AWS platform to deploy our application, or either we just use AWS platform and we just take our application Node.js and React code and we deploy it, or just simply use we just write our code as a functions. Rest deployment and running our application is in the hands of AWS services. So these are divided in the infrastructure as a code, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, or a function as a service, or backend as a service. Okay, there are wide variety of these services, and for practitioner certification exam, getting familiar with these services are important. What is the use of S3, what is the elastic beanstalk, what is the use of ECS, what is the EC2. These are divided into multiple categories, right? AWS compute, AWS storage, AWS networking, and AWS you can say CI/CD and all, AWS security and all. So if you talk about some services like AWS ECS container service, right? Elastic beanstalk, which is an example of providing a platform. You just need to deploy your application by zipping up the code. AWS Lambda, where you are just writing your functions. That's it. You don't need to worry about deployment or anything else. Elastic load balancing, which is, you can compare it with simple Nginx proxy, which is balancing your traffic to your Node.js instance. AWS CloudFront, so it's like a CDN tool to make your application available globally with caching and all, right? AWS Kinesis for the streaming, AWS Route 53 to provide DNS and routing for your web app. AWS DynamoDB, it's like a NoSQL database. AWS RDS, where you can create your database, Oracle, Aurora, or RDS, MySQL, Postgres, all these database. Elastic Cache, you might have heard about Redis. So it's a managed service provided by AWS. Amazon SQS, you might be familiar with RabbitMQs and all. So it's a managed service provided by Amazon. Simple queuing service, simple notification service, SNS, for sending message to like sometimes you want to send an email message, or you want to deliver a message to some HTTP endpoint or some SQS, then you can just publish that message to the topic. So it's SNS. Then auto scaling, your application is growing big, so AWS provides this auto scaling service where you can scale up and down. AWS API Gateway, you might have heard about API or Zool as a API Gateway, or Kong. So AWS API Gateway, which will be the entry point for your services. Simple email service, SES, Cognito, to provide it's like a federated authentication provider, like which provides you the user pool to manage the, like you can compare it with the Firebase or Auth0, but it is superset of it. IAM, identity access management, CloudWatch to watch on everything. It provides you the logging of lambdas, logging of different services. System manager to manage the system level configuration. CloudFormation, which is infrastructure as a service. You just provide your infrastructure as a code in the YML files. CloudFormation will orchestrate everything and give you your EC2 instance, load balancers, everything created. CloudTrail, which will monitor your whatever the resources you are creating, updating, deleting, and all these things. It keeps a trail on all the resources. Code commit, build, deploy, pipeline, these are the part of CI/CD. Okay, AWS KMS, key management service, like you want to sometimes key encryption for your resources, for your data communication which is in the network, like in and out data, you want encryption on that data, so you can use KMS. Okay, there are hundreds of these services available on AWS, and getting familiar with these is our primary agenda. So my questions will be based on what kind of EC2 instance you need, like reserved instance, port instance, what kind of what are the different categories of computes available, right? What all different platforms in which you can deploy your application. All these questions are for Cloud Practitioner, and here we can start with that. Okay, here we are talking about simple questions. Okay, which of these characteristics of the pricing model used in the cloud? So pay as you go and trade capital expenditure. Okay, so pay as you go, and these are the two options. That is correct. We can move to the next question. Which of these advantage of moving to the cloud? That is okay, plan to buy infrastructure ahead of time. No need to plan ahead of time. Provision infrastructure as your need evolves. That is the advantage of moving to the cloud. So there is a timer. If you're not able to answer this question, that is fine. It will give you the right answer because it's a 30-second timer. So if you're not able to answer, it will just put that, okay, this is the correct answer, and rest all are incorrect. Okay, because of compliance requirement, your application can only be deployed in a single geographic location. Which of this option you will consider to increase availability for your application? So deploy EC2 instance in a single availability zone, so it's like we still have a single region, so we can choose multiple availability zones. Okay, that is correct. Which of the benefit of the cloud? You don't need to worry about security. You don't need to worry about, okay, select two. Okay, yeah, increase agility. So trade capital expense for variable expenses. Now you don't need to worry about the infrastructure and all. For the data center, you can choose a particular services, and your expenditure or your cost will go for those services only. Which of these are managed database service in AWS? So AWS RDS and AWS DynamoDB, these two are the managed services. Which of these is easy to use AWS service for deploying and scaling web application? So if you remember, AWS provides platform as a service, which is Elastic Beanstalk. So here you just need to zip your code and deploy your application. Which of the service will you use to run event-driven workload in AWS? Okay, ECS is a container service. Forget Lambda. I'm not pretty much sure about it, so giving just cache. Okay, this is not correct. AWS Lambda is serverless compute that can be used to run your event-driven workload. Event-driven means you're not running the whole service all the time. There is some event and that will execute on a particular duration, right? So Lambda is like a serverless, and you are paying for only whenever you are executing. So Lambda is the perfect answer for it. Which of this is virtual firewall to control incoming and outgoing traffic from AWS resources? Security group. We use security group to say, okay, these ports and these IPs can communicate. So incoming rules we configure. Which do you go for EC2 support instances? Okay, I think yes, this P workloads are okay. There are two answers, A and E. And a mission critical batch program can't be interrupted. Which of this option would you choose? So on-demand instance cannot be stopped. Support instance is frequently stopped. Reserved instance for the longer duration. Not sure about it. Yeah, on support instance. Request when you want it. Flexible and most expensive. Immediate workloads it can handle and can't be interrupted. That is the characteristics. When you want to reserve a compute capacity in AWS to reduce the cost, you need the flexibility and all. Okay, which of the following option you will choose? Saving plans. It's okay. So on-demand instance. So these are so when you spin up a new EC2 instance, you always have these options. Okay, you what kind of instance you want: on-demand, spot instance, reserved instance, saving plans. So this is most of these questions moves around this. Okay, if there is a particular use case, what kind of instance you need: spot instance, reserved instance, or on demand, or saving plans, right? So you should be familiar about what these instances are, when you need what, right? Reserved instances ahead of time, like when you are planning for the longer duration, 1 to 3 years, right? And there is a payment option, either you can make upfront payment or you can do a partial payments and all these things. Which of these represent a horizontal scaling? Horizontal scaling means you are just increasing the number of instances, not increasing the capacity of a single instance. Okay, that's correct. When deploying application to EC2 instance, which of the following is a customer responsible for? So on the AWS infrastructure, there is a shared model, right? AWS is providing you the infrastructure. Now rest of the configurations and security, like I am managing the IAM roles and all, are the customer responsibility. So okay, which of the following is a customer responsible for? Configuring physical infrastructure, hardware and networking is AWS responsibility. Security, oh, we are delayed. So customer is responsible for guest operating system patches, application code and runtime, availability and scalability. This we are responsible for. AWS is responsible for networking, hypervisor support, host operating system, and networking, hardware, infrastructure. That is what AWS is responsible for. Rest, putting the security on top of the host operating system, applying patches, deploying your installing your the application software like Java, Node.js and all, and deploying your application is customer's responsibility. Okay, how do you distribute data in Amazon RDS across multiple availability zones? So you can create a read replica, that is correct, compared to the master database. Create read replica in same availability zone, create a multi-AG deployment with a standby database. So these two should be okay. Amazon RDS is managed service from AWS. You can create either Postgres, MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle database. And for multi-AG deployment, you can actually create a multi-AG setup and you can create read replicas cross region. Okay, which of these are storage service in AWS? Storage service is EBS, Elastic Block Storage and Elastic File System. So EC2 or EC2 is a compute. All the other services like Amazon Cloud Front is for caching, ELBs for elastic load balancing. Highly durable object storage service in AWS, obviously S3. Which of this can be used to create a file share to share file between multiple EC2 instances? So we talked about there are two options, EBS and EFS, but which of this can we create a file share? EFS. You need to share archive for 20 years for regulatory compliance, for if you want to store things for the lowest cost or for longer duration. S3 class Glacier is helpful for it. Which of the S3 storage class does not provide immediate access to the data? Frequent access, immediate access. Okay, choose two. So Glacier obviously and Deep Archive, they are used for longer duration where you don't need a frequent access. Glacier and Deep Archive. Which of these options is recommended for moving hundreds of terabytes of data from on-premises to AWS? So Snowball is a service, Snowmobile is a truck. We know that. Snowball. Okay, these are like very basic questions. If you know, if you have gone through the practitioner course anywhere on the web, then you should be able to answer. Which database service is used to create AWS managed MySQL RDS? Let's do these quickly then. Used to AWS managed Oracle database RDS. Quickly evolving application needing to support a millions of transactions per second. So DynamoDB can quickly evolve, can scale, because this is a managed service. If you want transactional processing also, then you can use Redshift. Petabyte of data. Okay, Redshift is there. Allowed to run the queries against Amazon S3 without loading the data onto them. Okay, this is tricky, and this you will be able to answer if you have gone through the course. So there is a Redshift spectrum is there, which you should be able to use when you can query the data into S3 without loading it. Used to cache data for SQL queries, Elastic Cache like Redis or Memcached. your own isolated network in the AWS. So we use VPC. AWS gives you a default VPC in each and every region, but you can also create your own. Okay. A private subnet does not have a route to internet gateway, because public subnet will have a route to internet gateway. Private subnet will have a route to net gateway or net instance. Which of the AWS managed service allows the instance of private subnet to download software patches while denying inbound traffic? So it should be net gateway or net instance. Okay, it's managed service, so managed service is net gateway. Net instance we manually create it. Which of the networking connections between VPC? So it's VPC peering when you are communicating from one VPC to another VPC. Which of these allow you to create a tunnel from VPC to on-premises encrypted communication? So it should be direct connect. AWS managed VPN. So it tunnels from VPC to on-premises. That is correct. Set up AWS managed VPN connectivity between on-premises and AWS. So it's customer gateway. Okay, which of these devices are used to set up AWS managed VPN connectivity? It should be VPN gateway and customer gateway. That is correct. Which of the IAM best practice to provide users with minimum access? They would need to be able to perform their duty. Which of these? The IAM best practices: always grant least privilege, least access, enable MFA for privileged users, strong policy, rotate security credentials regularly. Lot of these options are correct. Okay, we just need to select only one. So obviously grant a least privilege for AWS user. Okay. Which of the IAM entities has a credential attached with AWS user, username, password, and keys? We have AWS users, group, and AWS roles in IAM. Which of these used to manage the permission of collection of users? AWS group. We can create a developer group, vendor group, and all. Which of these are not IAM best practices? Here IAM credential, obviously this one and these two. We should not be using root user or anything. Which of these AWS services integrate with the storage and database service in AWS? Storage and database service, AWS Shield. Storage, okay. We are wrong here. So KMS and Cloud HSM generates a store and use to replace the keys. So KMS is the correct answer here. Which of this AWS service can integrate with AWS Shield to protect your DDoS attacks? So that is CloudFront and ELB, because these are like front facing for your application. That is correct. Which of the AWS service can be used to protect your web application? So we can use WAF, specific geographic location. Okay, that is correct. Which of these is this is a threat detection service that continuously monitor malicious activity? So these all are actually AWS security, AWS guard duty, AWS WAF, AWS Shield. The only thing is, when you read and when you go through them, only slight differences. Guard duty is actually take care of your incoming traffic, check for any malicious activity and all, which can be used to review, accept, and manage your agreement with AWS. AWS artifact can be used to store your lot of documentation. So here we talk about MACI, is fully managed data security service used. So what is the use of MACI? I think it actually scan the S3 storage to identify any personal information or any private information we are not hiding there. Guard duty continuously monitors the AWS artifact self-service portal. for storing AWS compliance report and all, AWS Security Hub, consolidated view of current status of AWS security. Which of the AWS services is recommended to track the change made to AWS resources? CloudTrail. Okay, I mean, these are very basic and I have already gone through some set of questions, so I'm able to easily answer because I have also gone through a practitioner course some time back. Which of the AWS service is used to collect monitoring and operational data in form of log, metrics and all? So CloudWatch is good at it. CloudWatch can do CloudWatch actually logs and track all the services. Track the request across different component in AWS service. AWS config, yes. Oh, sorry, X-ray. Yeah. So what X-ray does is X-ray tracks your request going from one component to another component. It actually when you are using multiple services and you want to track where what is the status, then you can debug using X-ray. Which of the AWS services fully managed messaging queuing service? SQS. Allow you to reduce the latency for users by distributing content to edge locations. That's CloudFront. Which of these options is recommended for efficiently deliver static content for low latency? So we always use CloudFront and S3 buckets. That is correct. Helps you to implement continuous integration in AWS. So continuous delivery and continuous integration. For continuous integration, you will be using code build and code pipeline. Which of the services fully managed CI service that help you to automate your release? So that is code pipeline. Helps you to provision AWS services. Which of the AWS service help you to provision resources? We use Cloud Formation. You just provide YML, it will provision all the resources for you. Help you to simplify management of multiple accounts. AWS organizations is there. Which is not a category check provided by Trusted Advisor. So AWS Trusted Advisor do the optimization, performance, service limits. I think performance would be okay. Sorry, reliability. So AWS Trusted Advisor provides cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, and all. So the correct answer is reliability. Which of the service provide you with the cost optimization, performance, security? We just discussed about it. Trusted Advisor. Analyze your cost, filter by region and see the cost projection. AWS budget. Cost Explorer. This is tricky, right? Both are services. Budgets also show you region based. Let's say Cost Explorer. That's correct. Which of the AWS service help you to estimate the cost of your architecture solution in AWS? It should be pricing calculator and Cost Explorer. Pricing calculator, I'm aware. Simply monthly calculator. Help you to automate common operational tasks such as stopping, starting EC2 instance. So there should be a system manager for it. Okay, your enterprise does not have in-house AWS expertise. Which of this service can help you to do the cloud migration? So there are consultant partners, AWS partner network, okay, that will help you to do the cloud migration. So professional service or partner network will help you to do that. Help you to add authentication, authorization, Cognito. So if you have gone through these, then these are very quick for you to answer these. Which of these is AWS well architect framework pillars? Okay, security is there. Operation excellence, security, reliability, performance, efficiency. Okay, security is there. Okay, so the question is, which of this AWS well architect framework pillar focus on minimizing effort minimizing effort and problems with provisioning servers and deployment, monitoring and support? So operational excellence is the answer for it. So these others are also well architect framework like performance, efficiency, reliability, and security. Which of this recommendation does not fall under the reliability pillar of AWS well architect framework? Okay, maintain redundancy, scale horizontally. Reliability means your application should be reliable and available. Principle is ruleless for the least time. It is correct. This is not falling under that category. Security and compliance in AWS is a shared responsibility of AWS and a customer. Which of these will use to authenticate yourself to make programmatic call against AWS services using CLI? Access key and secret key. I am user access key and secret key. Which of this is not responsibility of AWS under a shared responsibility model? Controls based on the application, ensuring the service S3 and so ensuring the up and running services, or ensuring the infrastructure or IT security standard. That is all AWS responsibility. So this should be that. Okay, that is correct. Which of the AWS support plan provide you 24/7 email support, chat access to the cloud support engineers? I mean, if you are paying it, so enterprise and business should be that. Final, which of this AWS support plan is free of cost? Basic. You do login and you add your credit card information, you will get a 1-year subscription with some limitations. That is correct. And here we are done. Okay, thanks everyone. So I think we should be able to crack this because there were only basic questions.